Today on Won't You Be My Gamer, we're talking about love maps, emotional homework, and kids. We're talking about kids.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, I'm Elise Willems.
I'm Nicole Zavallich.
And we are joined by Danielle, who is a relationship therapist, expert, and all-around, should we say, like, love guru?
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you feel about that title?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
What are we playing, Nicole?
We are playing It Takes Two, and it is a very serious co-op game, and we're definitely going to need some relationship advice as we play.
And it's been a struggle for us, but I think we can make this relationship work for the kid.
For the kid. The kid's you guys.
Yeah. We take in some questions, some fun ones from different surveys online. Danielle, how important is it for your partner to encourage you to try new things?
I think it's a positive thing to grow together. And I'm interested in the word encourages. Like, if that is a positive thing in the relationship, it'll feel good to everybody. But let's say it gets to a point where it's like pushy. You don't want your partner to like push you into things without your consent, or to, try and like just push and push and push. So I would say it's a positive thing. I don't know how important it is for them to encourage you to try new things, but I think I like the idea of two people deciding, do we want to go on an adventure together? Mm-hmm. What do we value about that? What are our interests about that? And how can we embark on that together?
We used to be important and taken care of, but that human locked us up in her toolbox and left.
You mean May's toolbox?
Yes! That heartless woman. Do you know her?
Now this Hammer, he's calling the wife heartless.
Yes.
Because she is, she works a lot outside of the home.
She has hobbies and interests, too.
Heartless. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a big word.
So it's sort of like the words we use. So this dynamic in this relationship is one partner is doing most of the child raising, and one partner is doing most of the money earning. And I think that, and for this one, we often see the gender roles reversed, where the mother is often the one who does most of the domestic work, and then the father is outside of the home. And so this is the opposite, but we see the mom sort of getting those same kind of words being used against her. You're heartless, you're not here enough. I think that's interesting, and probably whether or not you feel like the hammer's not part of this relationship, but I can imagine those are very real feelings that people have, and probably not the best word to use when you feel that way.
Yeah,
Words matter.
absolutely matter. I would say words and communication is like the top of the pyramid, and then all of, at the top, all the things trickle down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. So, communication can make or break a relationship. Interactions actually do make or break relationships. But what you're talking about in terms of, him calling her heartless, that would be one of the four horsemen. It would be criticism, right? And it wouldn't lead to anything positive. It would go towards a negative interaction, breaking down the relationship over time. That there is a lot of that kind of sentiment, especially if they haven't spent time together, haven't been working on their love maps, haven't been attuned. That's another big part of the Safe Relationship House, is attuning with your partner. And that also goes to, when you're raised, you want to be attuned with, so you know how to attune to your partner, meaning knowing, what a certain look might mean, coming in and greeting them kindly, things like that. I would always encourage my clients who are couples to use positive, kind language. I would encourage them to keep that as a group value for rules of engagement, speaking to each other kindly and with respect. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you would get defensive, or you would, want to depart if someone's calling you names. That kind of also goes to love maps, right? Like, you're attuning with your partner, knowing like what they like, and then you can join them in what they like, and you can take turns. They can join you in what you like. There's a lot of ways to build love maps. You can ask questions. That's a huge thing too, is being curious about your partner, always moving towards them with curiosity and wanting to know more about their deeper feelings, what they're going through. Like in this game, I imagine how they're experiencing the same situation might be different, right? So
Oh, completely. Our point of view
yeah,
is
exactly.
completely different.
Yeah.
We have a question from the chat from Mike Freeze. Can you talk about the fine line between forgiveness and standing your ground in a relationship?
Because forgiving's not forgetting.
No, and I think to what you're saying too, like it is important to be respectful with your partner, but like without sacrificing your own dignity, right? If they're abusing you.
Yeah, I mean, if something, you know, if there is, let's say, abuse involved, it might, you know, trample your boundaries again and again and again and again, and then there would be no ownership or accountability in the relationship. But, you know, forgiveness is up to that person. There's a couple different ways to forgive, right? That would look like taking accountability for your part in the relationship dynamic and also giving an opportunity for them to. So you'd want to own your feelings because you are responsible for your feelings, behaviors, actions, all of that. And you'd want to also let that other partner know how they impacted you. And that's where the partner can have an opportunity to come towards you and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I really messed up, but here's what I'm going to do to fix it. I value this relationship, I want to work on it. How about we do this, this, and this, and work on it this way?
And so how often do you see, you were talking earlier last time we played the last level about how family dynamics, kind of the relationships and boundaries and all that stuff that you learn as a child affect your future relationships. Is that just true across the board?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have, let's say, an enmeshed family system, this is a family system where boundaries are diffuse. So one person might start and not know where the other one ends, right? They don't get a lot of autonomy outside the home. They are very tight. And that can create more of a codependency in that person and a lack of identity and a lack of autonomy. And a lot of times that person will almost magnetize to an individual who has more of a cutoff family system because of the opposite attachment styles, right? So kind of the cutoff family system looks like a lot of inner conflict, family secrets, familial roles, golden child or scapegoat, you know, things of that nature.
And it's called cutoff style?
It's called like cutoff.
Okay, I just
more
haven't
words
heard that
for it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, but just familial cutoff is usually what they say when family members do not talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I can pause on that, I think.
And maybe it's not the farther wall. Maybe it's the closer wall still.
No, because I don't think I can jump that high from that point. I think I need to jump between them, no?
Well, no. Well,
I think I need to, can I try wall jumping between them?
yeah.
Will you take that leap with me?
It's something that you're comfortable with, and I'm ready to explore with you. Let's go.
Thank you for supporting me in this, Nicole.
Healthy communication.
So once you touch, you touch that far wall, I'll shoot into the closer wall.
And then you put this one up.
Oh, and then I put that one out. Okay.
Hang on.
We're learning.
Okay.
So then up.
Okay.
Taking that one back.
Okay.
Putting that one in.
And then that one comes down.
And then this one comes down.
Oh,
you.
Yay, we did it! By
well-
communicating with each other and respecting our boundaries, and also
probably halfway
honoring each
there.
other's talents.
Maybe you're building some more positivity and admiration the more you work together on this shared project.
I think I need to, put this wall up.
I think you might be right, Danielle.
Yeah, you're building some love maps. There you go.
Okay, and then I'm going to put this one here. So how do you feel about jumping there and then up?
I feel great about that.
The general rule with couples is that you always want to listen actively and you want to understand the meaning of what your partner is talking about so that you can validate it before you give advice. And before you give any advice or go to a solution, you want to ask permission for that. Like you said, are you looking for a solution? Oh,
Yeah, I'm looking for a solution.
I hear you if you need to talk.
I'm sorry. I'm such a buffoon, Nicole. You should be playing this game with someone else.
No, you're not a buffoon, nor are you a moon baboon,
There's like a billion
which is
people,
the fourth boss.
There's a billion people you can play this game with.
Yeah, that is going to be a boss.
I'm like, why would you even want to play this game with me? I'm trying to like maybe recreate some of that insecurity in a relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Why would you even want to play this game with me?
Read
I'm
the
so
text,
stupid.
putting the phone back down, not replying.
So
if this is maybe a scenario that's happening with your partner, where your partner's saying like, "Why would you want to be with me? How do you handle that?"
yeah, that would also have to do with maybe an insecure attachment style, usually avoidant. So there is a big interrupter of relationships, and that's shame. So I want to say, let's say even biologically, because let's say men have been in a way oppressed into feeling only anger or expressing anger. Other emotions tend to get trapped and unmetabolized in their body. And suffice to say, like, shame is probably underlying all of that. And that's what you're talking about when you say, why would you want to do this with me? I'm so bad, or like, I'm not good at this, right? That's kind of that maybe a mentality that you might have internalized from an earlier relationship, maybe a caregiving relationship.
Well, I just want to say, Elise did a great job. We got through that so well. We never
did
gave up
eventually. Yeah.
on us.
Well, and because you were there for me. Every single platform that I needed to climb, you were there for me, taking me to higher heights.
Yeah, definitely pointing out things that are positive in the relationship and adding positives to a relationship can be very, very healing as well. There are magic ratios in relationships that are sustainable. So the masters of relationships in terms of conflict will have a ratio of 5 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction within the conflict.
Within the conflict.
Within the conflict. If you're not in conflict, I have a really interesting one. I wonder if you can guess how many positive to negative interactions it would be just on a daily basis for a sustainable relationship, not even in conflict.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like
Just throw it out there.
3 goods to 1 bad.
No.
Okay.
A little higher. A lot higher.
For both of them?
Yeah, well, not conflict, just in general, like in the interaction.
7 good, 1 bad.
I wish.
It's more.
10 good, 1 bad.
More?
20 good, 1 bad.
20 to 1.
No.
Yes, and that is to build up your emotional bank account so that you can have something to borrow from when you're in conflict later on, right?
Right.
If you are
To remember what you're fighting for.
exactly.
Okay, that makes
Those
sense.
small interactions throughout the day build up and make or break relationships. We call them sliding door moments because you can react to your partner or respond to your partner in different ways, right? Positively, neutrally, which kind of counts towards positive, or kind of ignore them, or react and go against them, which is like -10.
Yeah.
So
So Schmitty asks, and this kind of pertains to that, Schmitty asks, the main character, the wife, seems pretty checked out in the relationship. How do you know when it's time to just drop it and be in the relationship? And I think that 20 to 1 ratio you're talking about is probably a good indicator of if you're not getting anywhere near 20 to 1 in your day-to-day, that seems like you need to have a conversation.
absolutely, you'll definitely notice too because you won't be feeling connected.
Yeah.
Relationships can add years onto your life or like cause chronic illness and have earlier deaths, which is an amazing.
It's crazy to
Yeah.
think about that. And it makes sense because this is the
Incredible
person you share your life with.
Absolutely.
And it's not,
Yeah.
sometimes it's as serious as they're the ones who are going to call 911. So they hope that they're in a good mood.
Something else that might add or take years off your life is having kids.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, like, what impact does that have on a couple? Like, how does that change your relationship dynamic?
Wow. Yeah, it changes everything. That is why someone asked earlier, about premarital counseling. You really want to get into all the details surrounding rearing the children. Because before you have kids, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And when it's happening, it's almost like, oh, okay, this is something we couldn't even see. So how do we know how to get through it? It definitely changes the dynamic because a lot of times the small infant baby, is so physically attached to the female if they're breastfeeding and so forth, that a lot of times the male, if it is a male, will feel very useless, right? And they'll feel like, how can I help? The baby always wants you. What can I do about that? And that can create some conflict because then it kind of goes to this, if it continues, it can kind of go towards resentment from the mother for, being a little burnt out in terms of caretaking. So the baby will take on so much energy from the mom. It'll have to. You're literally sucking the life force out of the mom. And so if
No one's sleeping.
And so you're grumpy, you're exhausted, and if you don't have a lot of support either.
It's a huge life change.
Absolutely, 100,000 billion, trillion %.
Yeah, that seems like the math that I did. That checks out.
That's why the fair play thing is cool too, because it talks about acknowledging that there is emotional labor being done that maybe some of the couple aren't aware of.
I saw that, Elise. It was a beautiful jump.
Can Nicole and I try one of the fair play cards? Like, can we?
Yeah.
Because we are going through a battle right now.
I keep hammering, even though I'm not required to hammer after she puts the nail in, but I want to feel like I'm doing something.
What you're doing also is jumping like a fairy princess.
Well, this one is a groceries card. Okay. I feel like this one could be. It could be relevant. So. Let's talk about groceries in our house.
Okay.
Say you guys have a friendship household or whatever, right? So which of you would like...
Golden Girls.
It's my dream.
Golden Girls.
There you go. Perfect. Which of you would like to hold and take ownership mindset around the grocery card?
See, I know Nicole loves going to Trader Joe's.
I do love grocery shopping.
It's a great place.
I love grocery shopping with another person. That's one of my favorite. Like, I love to be a co-pilot on someone's errands.
So do we just go grocery
that.
shopping together?
That's the thing.
Because we were talking before we were streaming about how in Southern California, it's all just young couples grocery shopping together.
It's fun to do that together.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the only time they have right now in between work and childcare. I also like to go to the grocery store with my partner.
I do too.
But also, if I have the toddler,
Right.
somebody's going to need to wrangle. Somebody's going to need to actually seriously actively shop.
And grocery shopping isn't just buying fun food. It's also
Meal planning.
What are the meals?
Absolutely.
What are we actually out of versus what we want to get?
Right.
And I think
She's
the fact
gluten free. I'm vegetarian. How's it gonna work?
that both partners are invested in that speaks volumes to me.
Yes, but sometimes some of the, the domestic labor, the emotional and tends to be invisible labor, that is why these cards exist, because it brings light to them so that it can be divvied up.
I think Nicole probably has a more personal connection to grocery shopping, and she should take the card.
And
but I'm also going to be secretly upset if she doesn't come home with ice cream.
Secretly upset.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say hey, can you come home with ice cream? I'm just going to be quietly.
You're like, is there ice cream?
I'm going to expect her to have known that I want ice cream.
Oh, and
Is
I
that
think I would
toxic?
know that because she likes little snacks and it's
not preferred.
ice cream.
So I should probably just say up front, hey, would you mind bringing me home some ice cream?
Absolutely. Speak to your needs, especially if it's a safe space, right?
Yeah. So we just beat this boss, and now we're talking to the Hammer who helped us out, and the Hammer thanked the wife for all her hard work, and the husband immediately goes, "What about me? I also caused the explosion."
Clearly some insecurity there.
Yeah.
Wants to
And
be
maybe
seen.
some need, and maybe a lack of validation he's getting somewhere else.
Sounds like he just feels like he doesn't exist, like he's invisible, and that's a really sad and horrible feeling in relationships, to feel lonely or you're not seen, appreciated. That is why with Gottman method couples therapy, appreciation and adoration are so important in a relationship.
Saying thank you.
Yeah, say thank you. And, there are a lot of times the body will have a negative bias for things because of the fact that we're trying to survive. And so you have to almost be conscious of looking for the positives in things. Knowing that your body and your
Remembers.
nervous system, is going to have that negative bias.
Danielle, where can people find your stuff?
Okay, so you can go on www.loveisaverbcounseling.com, or you can go on my Instagram, and my handle is loveisaverbcounseling. You could also find me under that on Facebook, or Gottman Referral Network, Psychology Today, Danielle Roxburgh, LMFT.
Thank you so much, Danielle, and thank you so much for hanging out with us and supporting the show. Where can they donate, Nicole?
You can donate at pbssocal.org/gamer. Any donation helps. We are so appreciative of viewers like you who help make this possible.
Yeah, but for $60 or $7 a month, you get a cool Won't You Be My Gamer t-shirt, street cred, SoCal street cred,
cool.
and then also access to the PBS Passport app. So that's a big deal.
What's the passport?
Oh, okay.
Tell us more.
PBS Passport has all of the great shows and content from PBS. Nicole's a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan. The app can go right to your TV, and you have access to all of the shows on PBS SoCal whenever you want. New content all the time. Go back, find old content. I am learning about things all the time. I'm so smart now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But you can also keep learning by watching this show. We have new experts all the time, new episodes every Friday. We'll see you guys then.